Hello everyone. I thought I would do a quick video on how I created the last track that I just posted a couple of days ago from The Art of Noise called Moments in Love. And been wanting to do something like this just to kind of break down the individual stems and talk a little bit about how I put it together. So bear with me. This is the first time I've done anything like this, so going to probably be really rusty, and hopefully if I start doing a few more of these, I'll get a little better and use a little more strategy on maybe doing a video of me playing the instruments at the same time. Anyway, hopefully this will be of some entertainment value to some of you out there. Okay, here is, as you can see on the screen, this is my Cubase 10 project, main project window, and the tracks and the stems that I did for that piece. Okay, this first one I used from the river. It's just a very low frequency bass. As you can hear, it goes throughout the song just to give it some meat. And then I used a bass from the Model 002, doing the little plucks. Okay, and then I have that famous Fairlight vocal sound. I did that with a Contact, actually, from Native Instruments. And again, this has no effects on it right now. I'm just showing you the dry tracks. Okay, let me get up here. The next sound is the string pad I used from The River by Baloran. And in case you don't know about it, it's an analog synth, 8-voice, built in France. I think there's less than I think there's less than 100 in the whole world, and I feel honored to have one of them. And let's see, thought I recorded this one in mono, but evidently not. But I didn't do any stereo spread on it. I wanted to keep it kind of authentic to how they would have done it in the 80s. Anyway, I think it's a beautiful pad sound. Okay, let me go to the orchestra hits, which I really love. Those orchestra hits they did. Okay, here we go. As you can see, I did 2 tracks of it. It's the same sample. I just had one hard pan left and then the other one hard pan right, but at a very low volume, just to give it a little bit of a... At first I had a pre-delay setting with the reverb, but it wasn't giving me quite the... It's hard to explain, I guess, how they did it. So anyway, I have 2 tracks of it here. Here it goes. Okay, the next sound I did... Oh yeah, and that orchestra hit, I used that on Contact also. I got a lot of these samples from the J.J. Jezelik. I'm probably butchering his name. He was one of the founding members of The Art of Noise, and he released a sample CD. I think it was on a Kai I bought, God, I think in the mid-90s or late 90s. I used it on my old Kurzweil samplers. So yeah, I've had those sounds sitting around, and now I finally got a chance to use them. Let's see, the next sound I did was with my Solaris by John Bowen. What I did was I have it's like a glockenspiel sound, and then I recorded it with heavy reverb using Adaptiverb on the computer, and I recorded that reverb separately so I can have just a huge reverb sound, and then I layered it with the bell sound. So here it is. Anyway, I think it sounds beautiful. Okay, my lovely wife, Anne Marie, helped me out with the vocals. All they say is pretty much 3 words, moments in love, and just in slightly different styles. So I recorded her, and then I duplicated the track twice. So I had 3 separate tracks, and kind of moved the pitch up slightly with kept time correction in there, and moved it down slightly, and then started it slightly in different times to make it thick. And then as you can see, I bounced it down to 1 track. So I will show it to you towards the end so you can hear the full. All the words she said in it. Here, let's see. Moments in love. Moments in love. Moments. The quality isn't the greatest, but again, everything was done purposely. I was trying to get that authentic, 80s low sample rate and not the greatest quality, but in the mix, it sounds great to my ears. And then, of course, I had a nice big reverb on there, which I'll show you the effects here when I get to these tracks. Okay, then there's this other sound that comes in the song that I use the Modal 002 on. Okay, let's see. And then this little break here. Let's see. I had some effects on there. And then I used the Below in the River for the synth in the bridge here. Once you get the effects in there, it sounds really nice. Let's see. Okay, then the well-known samples, the now samples, they come from this they were 3 sisters, the Andrews sisters, back in the 30s. They used to do all these black and white, all sorts of films, but there was this one called In the Army Now. So they sang a song, and it was weird. My mom and dad always loved, especially my mom, she always loved watching those old movies. And the first time I heard this piece from Art of Noise in the 80s, I instantly knew. I was like, that sounds like the Andrews sisters. And it happened to be what it was. So here's that. Now. 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 Of course, it's pitch shifted down and EQ'd to get rid of some of the song sounds in there. And then they have this vocal kind of creepy sound. I decided just to do it myself. and then add some effects to it and did some pitch shifting and stuff. So let's see, here we go. Start sounding like a chipmunk. And then I got this little harp glissando, and I just, as you can see, it's broken apart here by the pitch. So I have a, and then up to the next pitch. Okay, let's see. Okay, then I get for the percussion here, I'll just start the percussion and add to it. This snap sound, kick coming up. What really makes these percussion sounds and everything else shine is the creative use of the reverb they did. They did a lot of reverbs where you have the main sound coming in, for example, on the right, but then they did a reverb for it on the left with a timed pre-delay, which just adds a really cool effect, which I'll show you when I add the effects back in. Oops, where'd my other snare go? There we go. And then, let's see. Okay, and then as you notice in the song, what they do is there's parts where the same sound will come on with heavy reverb and then back on without reverb. And at the time, I had never heard anyone else do that. So Art of Noise really did some things that at least I hadn't heard before. So let me turn on the effects here. Bear with me as I get all these turned back on. Let's see. Yeah, I used about 7 or 8 reverbs and probably 5 or 6 delays to get everything done the way. I mean, I automated a little bit on the effects, but I found it easier sometimes just to create another track with the new setting. Here we go. And then I think I have to yeah. Start these. And bear with me here. Okay. Here we go. There we go. And you hear that pre-delay coming in on the left with the reverb. Hey, what happened to my kick? Let's see. Oops, didn't mean to have that come on. And then over here you'll hear the metals when they're dry and then wet. And then you'll hear coming in wet right here. It's a really cool effect. Again, I'd never heard anyone use reverb like that, you know, back then. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let me show you a quick comparison of the original to my version. I think I did a pretty good job at making it close. Obviously, it was close enough for the YouTube algorithm robots actually said that I was doing a copyright infringement. And this has happened to me a couple times, and I've had to write the publisher and dispute the copyright, and they would take it off once they realized that I indeed recreated it. But I guess it's a compliment if I recreate it so close that it thinks it's the original song. Because as you can see, I do the same tempo, same pitch, and I'm really trying to be as close as I can to the original sounds. So here's like part of the original. And here's mine. It's not perfect, but you know, it's pretty close. Let's see. That's the original. And here's mine. And let's see the original right here. And here's mine. And the original. And then here's mine. Anyway, I thought I got pretty close, and hopefully at least anyone who was interested now was able to hear how I did all these individual tracks to create the piece